Hello everyone, this is Lindsay. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited to share with you a new project pack from VectoriaDesigns, and we're going to craft with it today. I have a project. I've been working on this type of a project for a few days now using up my scraps, and I wanted to share that with you and show you how I made it and how you can also use a junk journal kit or any printed paper pack to do the same thing. First, I want to show you this beautiful kit. I've printed most of the kit here, and it's way more than we'll need for this project, but I did want you to see the gorgeousness of it. This is called My Botanical, and it is beautiful. Excuse me, I had some mixed nuts, and they're still tickling my throat. Anyway, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. Beautiful pages and beautiful ephemera sheets. We're going to need these to embellish our tags. We're going to make a set of coordinating tags for a nature journal. And then these would be the junk journal pages. But again, you could use them for anything like I'll be showing you. There's beautiful, more neutral backgrounds. And then there's their VectoriaDesigns is known for their gorgeous collaged pages. I love them. I'm so honored to work on their design team and share these with you. It's beautiful, beautiful pages. I will have a link in the description box below where you can get this. And if you like freebies, there'll be more info down there as well, because like this, they have some free sheets. So you can play with some freebies. So I will have info on that below as well. So this is what, wow, my throat today. This is what we'll be working with. But the project we're going to be making is something like this. These are tags. They're about a 3 by 4, 3 by 5, 3 by 5 size. And I've already made all of these just using scraps, and I still have a bunch more. You'll probably see these listed in my shop next week because I'm not done yet. But pretty much it is a stitched, double-sided, lightly embellished tag. And it's a great way to use up scraps. It is wonderful to have a huge stack like this nearby so that you can always pull from it. Now, these are random. I have nature, and I have book pages, and I have vintage gentlemen, and I have mixed media and moths and vintage, I think I said vintage book pages. I have more modern, there's like beach theme and maps and wallpaper and everything. But because I was going through my scrap drawer, but what if you want tags that are more around a single theme that coordinate? Maybe you're making a collection of journals or a big journal, or you know that there's a theme you use all the time. For me, it would be nature and floral, and I use that all the time. So maybe I want to make, have a mass making day or a mass making weekend and make a whole bunch out of one theme. A good way to do that is to print off a digital kit, or if you have like a 12 by 12 paper pack you want to use up, and maybe it has cut aparts, but you're going to need images as well as backgrounds. So that's why a kit like this works perfectly. There's no way we are going to use this whole kit in this video, but we are going to make a set of tags together. I suggest that you make a template. I just made a tag template out of a piece of like chipboard cardboard. Or you could use thick cardstock, just something that you can use for your pattern. You don't have to do that, but that's the way I've been doing it. And then we are going to decide what we want, where we want to cut the tags out. And if you want to save a little bit of time, if you fold your paper in half, just like you would if you were making a journal page, you can cut 2 tags out at the same time. And I'm sure there's a million different ways to do this. This is just the way that I've been doing it. And, you know, use your own judgment for whatever works the best for you. Keep the bigger scraps because you can always use those in another project making other things. These teeny little cutoffs like that can go in the trash. And what I like to do sometimes, this is just a plain piece of paper that I've used for stenciling and spraying, and it's pretty much a trash piece of paper. I will put my little scrappies that I cut off that are going in the trash on top of that so I can easily dump it in the trash can without them being all over my desk. So when we cut them out, we have tags. And what we're going to do is do this in a assembly line or mass making way. So we're going to start out with all of our card bases, then we're going to put them together, sew them together, and decorate them. I would like to make a set of 8 tags today with you, and that will go up in my shop for sale, the completed 8 tags. So you'll find that link below, as well as the links to the digital paper pack. So we have 2, we're going to need 16 tags if we're going to make 8, because they're going to be double-sided. I think that's, oh no, I can get 2 more tags out of this piece. This is a wonderful way. Use as many pieces, especially these boring pieces. This is just the middle of a journal page that is meant to be written on. But we've already taken the pretty little florals off of this. And now, instead of that scrap floating around for eternity in our scrap bin, we have some more tag bases. And then we're going to go again because there's still more room. I just hold on to it. I go rather slowly. We're going to trim them up later to make sure they're even after we glue them together. So it's okay if they are not perfect. We're going to check to see if we can fit another tag on here, which we can. I wasn't sure we were going to be able to. And we have used, wow, we've used an entire page. That's really awesome. Now, since we've been using this more muted color, the next page that I cut tags out of, I think I want to be a little brighter. So what am I going to pick? Maybe one of these. Where are those? Oh, here they are. Let's see, what would be a good one? Okay, this one right here. I love all the busyness in that and how cool that is. I'm going to fold it this way so I have the pictures going the direction I want them to, which it's not that important, honestly. You can really fold it the other way. These are just fun tags. Now that strip I want to keep, but these little corners I can just throw out. Trying to not have a bunch of waste, but I'm trying to not overthink it and save too much that I'll never use on the other hand. Look at how cute. Okay, we're going to see how many of those we can get out of this page. There's another strip that I want to keep. You can make your tags any size you want. This is just the size I've been playing with. All right, we better count how many we have because we need 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can't fit another one that way, but I can this way. And we're just going to go ahead and do that. So this is 14, and then we'll need 2 more. This is a wonderful project to do over a weekend while you're hanging out with family and you are watching TV, because if you print off a kit like this, you can just go ahead and cut, then glue, just like we're doing. But instead of doing 8 tags, you could do 80, and it would be a wonderful weekend project, just like I have done that stack I showed you. All right, we are up to 14. What is something really different? I don't know. What do I want? See, I'm getting indecisive, which means I need to just decide. All All right, let's try one of these really busy ones. And another thing that you can do is place your tag like a mask. So if I want this flower on my tag, I cover the part that I want, and then I cut it out, and I know that that is what will be on the tag. You might get a little more paper waste this way, but you're also going to get exactly the picture that you want on the tag. So they're both great ways, either random or selective. So as you see, I got exactly what I wanted on that tag. And now I'm going to try to grab this white flower, or at least part of it. It's a little harder to do this way because the paper you have to hold is a little bigger sometimes. But the results are really beautiful. And then I'm just going to keep this little strip for collage or something like that. And then I want to grab kind of a little bit of both of these flowers for, oh wait, do I even need another one? I think I have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, as you can see, we could go on and on cutting up the paper into tags like that, but this video would be hours long if we went through the whole thing. These little scrappies, I'm going to put in my little scrappy drawer right away so they're not floating around. They're not getting in my way. I'm going to throw out my little clippings. They're not all over the desk now. And the next thing is the gluing. So I'm going to use a glue stick. You could go ahead and use a wet glue if you have like a fine line like the art glitter glue. But since I'm actually going to be stitching around it, and this is cheaper than art glitter glue, I am going to use my Uhu stick. And I like this glue, and I also like the Amazon Basics glue sticks. Those are my favorite glue sticks, those and then this one. So since I am going to be stitching, I'm not going to worry too much about, sorry, I'm thinking about lining it up and not about my words. I'm not going to worry about glue all the way to the edges. If you don't have a sewing machine or you are not sewing it, then you would want this glue stick to go all the way around the edge. So you may want to grab an old piece of paper or a magazine page or something like that so you can glue all the way around the edge. Don't worry if they don't line up perfectly. We're going to trim that up later. And the reason they don't line up perfectly was either because of the way we cut it when we folded the paper in half, and because my template's getting old. I have cut many tags out of it, probably a couple hundred tags out of it, and you end up snipping little bits off of it, so it doesn't wind up being perfect, but that's fine. We will fix that later. So we're back to just mass making, adding the glue. I'm not overthinking which papers I'm putting together. They all coordinate because they're part of a kit. The only thing I'm trying to do, which it's totally up to you, is if I have this really busy, pretty one here, I'm putting a plainer one on the back, or just not having two of the same papers together. But if you did, it would still be fine. I've done that before when I've been mass making and I come to the end and all I have left are two of the same pages. I stick them together. One side we are going to decorate, so it really doesn't matter. But it is nice to have a side that you can write on. It really doesn't take that long, and as you get used to it, it goes more quickly. If you didn't want this gluing step, because this is printed on 24-pound paper, if you wanted to skip the glue step, you could get 110-pound cardstock and then print it double-sided. So you could have one of these pages printed on one side and a different one on the other side. Then you could cut out your tags and they would be thick and they would be double-sided. But this paper is cheaper, and then you can use it for other things as well. Neither one is the right way. They're just two different ways that you can do it. Now that we're glued, the next thing we're going to do is take our scissors and just trim off any places that they do not match. Let me get my little paper to catch my scraps again. You don't have to be overly picky because we are going to ink the edges. So if there's a thin slight line, that will get inked. But if they're not lined up, just trim, flip it over, trim again, and set it aside. And you probably would have to do this less if your template hadn't been cut like mine, or if you paid more attention to make sure that they were perfectly cut out. But it doesn't take that long, and then you don't have to obsess over perfect lining up. You can just trim a teeny bit and you're good to go. And it's a good thing we are only doing 8 tags in this video because we haven't even gotten to the decorating yet. And I would like for you to see a complete collection. And as you could see, you could go on and make a couple hundred tags. A beautiful collection of nature tags. I don't know how many you could get out of this, but I would think you could get at least 100 tags probably. Like this. And the nice thing about it being a digital is that you can reprint it if you love a page. So now that we are pretty well trimmed up, decorating is our next step. To decorate, I'm going to use the ephemera pieces to decorate. And I have a very loose formula, and that is the side that's more plain that you could possibly write on is going to be the back. And the part that is a little more bright and colorful is going to be the front. Here's a cute little, I don't want too big of a piece of ephemera because I do want the image of the background to show. But this is pretty cute. It says Smithsonian Institution in another language. Just a cute little piece of ephemera there. And I've been using this ink pad. I am just at the end of it. There is almost no ink left in this, and I will be using it to dye paper when I'm done. This is the Color Box in Toasted Apricot, and it is about out. I'm getting the last little bits out for my tag project, and then I will drizzle water over it to make a colored water that I will then dye paper with. And I'm curious to see what my paper will come out to be. All right, then I'm going to use my art glitter glue for this one. Because I have a nice fine tip, it doesn't get that messy and it holds quickly and well. I'm just going to put that glue around the edge and a little bit in the middle. And then I'm going to decide where to place it. I'm going to put it down in this bottom corner so I can still see most of the paper. Hopefully I'm not too zoomed out. No, I think you can see okay. And then I'm just going to set it aside and move on to my next one. Just peeking at all the ephemera pieces, deciding which one I might want to use. I can also look at some of the journal pages because there's so many collaged bits. Let's see. Some nice ones. I like this one. I'll show you here. The Library of the New York Botanical Garden. And I think, no, that's not from the freebie page. but it has that little masking tape on it, which I think is really cute. I'm actually just going to trim the top of that masking tape off, so I just have a rectangle. Add my ink. And glue it on just like we did. I'm only gluing on one piece of ephemera for each tag because I'm trying to keep my mass making, trying to keep the time down as much as possible. But you could totally layer it up and you could put cheesecloth or lace or, you know, layer it up with different papers. But this is how I've been doing it. All right. What next? I kind of think that this little stuffed envelope right here is cute and it could actually be written on top of. So let's cut that out. I love how VectoriaDesigns puts different sized ephemera. They have the teeny tiny little, like this one is really small. But then they have nice big journal cards. Like look at this one here, Childhood's Happy Days. It's huge. And that would be a beautiful journal cover image or a large journal cover to fill up a good portion of a page. You can really find so many different things that you could use. And here we go. Love that. Okay, next. There's a little piece of scrap paper. I'm going for these more neutral ones because of all of the butterflies and moths that are on the page. And this is a good place to write a date, a message, a favorite word. You could write nature, journal, botanical. You could write to and from if it's a gift tag. And we might go back and do that at the end as well. And what I'm going to do for some of these is flip them the other way, have this be the back, and then put maybe a brighter image here, because some of these images, they're really beautiful and they're bright and I want to use them. Which one? Kind of like this plant one. Is it too big? Might be too big. What about one of these butterflies? I'm just going to fussy cut out this butterfly. I don't know that it shows up in the video. There is a very pale border, like a pale tan cream border around the butterfly so that you can easily fussy cut it out without catching the antenna or catching any of the delicate parts of the butterfly. So that makes it really nice. It's just a nice little cutting guide. You don't have any bright white around it, and add the tiniest bit of inking and it is a perfect piece of ephemera. I'm thinking right like that. These really are double-sided tags, so you can really put them either way in the journal depending upon what you need for your page. This one's so, ooh, I got a little butterfly here. I really don't want to detract from that big flower, but I do want to add something. So we will fussy cut the tiny butterfly. I hope I'm still filming. Yeah, I have to check every once in a while because my poor phone just doesn't like to stay filming. I was going to try to get a new phone this month, but because of different lease agreements and all of that, it will probably be another 5 or 6 months. So I'm going to have to hope for the best for this one. And where, yeah. There we go. Beautiful. We have 2 left. Okay, I think I want to use this big butterfly. I just am really loving these fussy cut butterflies, and I like how we get different sizes. Even if you're making an entire junk journal out of this kit, you can see how even though we've made a set of tags, we have barely touched what is offered in this kit. So we could go ahead and make an entire journal out of this kit and use the tags in the journal. Just a wonderful project. It doesn't take a lot of fancy supplies. All I'm using are scissors and glue and ink, but you could skip that part if you wanted to. Look at that. So pretty. Okay, we've got 1 tag left. Find the... Okay, you don't feel bad if to cut out elements from other elements. I really like this little tag here, and I can still use parts of that file folder pocket. I can just cut this right out. The kit serves you. You do not serve the kit. So you tell the kit what it needs to be and what you want out of it, and don't feel like the kit is boxing you in. If you need something from one of the pages, if you need to cut, rip, glue, paste, turn it into something different, then by all means, that's what you should do. And where do I want it is the question. There we go. We'll make it like that part of the tag. Perfect. All right, we are going to move on now to stitching. You probably won't, well, maybe you will be able to see this part if, well, I should go check what that is. I will be right back. I think it was just bunny rabbits setting off the gate alarm. We have a bunch of bunny rabbits right now. All right, I don't know if you can see. I'm trying to bring my sewing machine. It's a big machine, so I don't know. I want you to be able to see this part, but I've got to just drag it over a little bit without messing anything else up. Can you see it yet? Almost. You might not be able to see the actual sewing part. It's right here. All right, I guess you can kind of see that. Maybe. All right, it'll have to be good enough. You can skip this part if you wish. Okay, so I'm going to just choose a straight stitch. You could do a zigzag, but I've been doing the straight stitch and I love it. And I just do a straight stitch down, stop it, and I don't use a foot pedal here. You can't really see the tag, can you? What about when I turn it? Yeah, you can kind of see it there. Okay. Like I said, it's a big machine. And I just straight stitch all the way around. I have a tan thread in the top and a white bobbin. I buy the pre-wound white bobbins from Amazon. It's about $20 for, I don't know if it's a pack of 100. It's a huge box, and I haven't even gotten halfway through it. So it's a wonderful buy. And I just repeat for all of these. The only reason I stop it to pivot is to keep a better straight line. But if you either want to slow down your stitching or just kind of whip it up really fast and go around the corners and do more of a messy stitching, then you wouldn't have to keep starting and stopping it. After this, we are going to ink and then maybe go in with a fine line marker to add a little bit of text or detail. You can totally skip this sewing part if you don't like messing with the sewing machine, or you haven't added a sewing machine to your craft room yet. I get questions about what kind of a needle I use, or is it safe to go through paper? Will it dull the needle, and all of that. I just use whatever universal needle. I have the Singer Quantum Stylist Touch, and honestly, you don't need this expensive of a machine. I wished I would have just got, I think there's a Brother one that has about 100 stitches, and was a couple $100 cheaper, but this has lasted me for, by now, maybe it's 3 years. I'm not sure. Something like that. I just use whatever the basic universal needle is. I do not have problems with stitching through paper or even cardstock or even chipboard, really. My needle rarely breaks. Sometimes I have problems with the tension, but I just try to go with it because they are junk journals, and adding texture and strings can be fun as long as it doesn't look like a piece of trash. And I don't mean junk mail, I mean really poorly put together. I would not use an expensive, say, quilting machine that you used for sewing. If you did a lot of sewing and you had an expensive machine where you did quilting or sewing a lot of important things on, I would go get a cheap one for paper. But if you have a sewing machine sitting around somewhere that you barely ever use, just try it. I like sewing paper better than I like sewing fabric. I find it's easier to control. It makes more sense to me. Things don't slip around as much. You can add that little bit of a glue stick to hold it. I'll take sewing paper over sewing fabric any day. I admire the people who make gorgeous big quilts. And I've done some quilting, but not professional at all. And our last tag. A zigzag stitch would be really pretty as well, or a decorative stitch. Just whatever you feel like. Try different stitches for different tags. All right, so I'm going to move this machine back out of the way. I'm going to hold it up here so you can see how pretty that stitching makes the tags. We're going to grab my ink pad again. That's almost out. And I'm going to flick that color on, but it's almost out, so I'm being rather aggressive because I'm barely getting any color off the pad anymore. And once I'm done with this project, I will just set this on a cookie sheet and drizzle water on it, and I will see the color pull out of it into the water. And I'm only drizzling, that way I'm getting the most color out of the pad. And when the water runs clear or mostly clear, I throw this out. I might squeeze any excess ink out, and then I just dip and dry my paper like I would coffee dyed paper. I've done this with purple, silver, blue, and pink, and brown. Have I done pink? No, the brown turned into pink, like a dusty rose for some reason. And I have loved the results on all of them. So I'm really excited to see if this makes a really creamy paper, or if it looks like coffee dyed paper, or maybe it goes more yellow. I'll have to show you one after I do it. But I'm also drying paper that I coffee dyed the other day. I haven't coffee dyed in ages, and I had some really bold coffee. Made it way too bold on Sunday. And instead of throwing it out because it was really bold, I dyed a whole bunch of paper, and I've been drying it, air drying it, and I don't have too much room for more drying paper right now, so I might wait till I get that a little bit more under control. Okay, now we could stop here, but I am going to grab a fine line, a little black fine line marker, and just come in here a little bit. What would I want to write? I'm going to write enjoy today. Fine line marker makes a big difference with adding wording. There's that sweet little butterfly. I'm probably not going to add anything to that or this. Oh, I thought about adding little, no, I can think like little flight marks, but I think I'll leave that. Here we go. I'm going to write date. And then you can write a date. And maybe we'll even do month, day, year. And here I think we will put nature notes. Don't feel bad about your handwriting. It adds something special, even if you don't like it. There we go. What a gorgeous set of tags. These are under Lindsay's Handmade in my shop if you would like to purchase the set. I love how that turned out. Thank you so much for watching, for crafting along with me, and I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not, and join me again tomorrow for more inspiration.